what I'm going to be showing today is essentially the evolution of the aiptek i2's setup with the Lensse midx Steadicam. And I'm just going to go over what I used with this and how to make it look like it did. Again, the footage that I've shown on my channel so far, it really doesn't show completely, if this was completely balanced, like it should have been. But when working with the aiptek and the Lensse, it did show a vast improvement on the footage that I uploaded. So essentially this is what you get with the Lensse. When they send it to you, you get two of the heavier weights, one of the lighter weights. And the idea, of course, is to put your camera right there and then put the weight right there, and then kind of manipulate this so that it balances out side by side, depending on where the weight is with your camera. And then if your camera's going back and forth like that, you can either put it towards the back or towards the front, and it should even that out. I'm just kind of showing this with a Samsung camera that I got, and they recommend putting that out first when balancing it, and then you can balance that way. Now this is actually kind of good balance forward and backward. The camera's in the right spot, but if you start moving around like that, you're going to get a lot of waving like that and stuff. And that's when you add a little bit of weight on here. Now technically speaking though, that the Samsung camera is actually better balanced than the aiptek ever could be. It sits on the Lensse pretty solid. The aiptek camera is actually flat coming up, and I'm just showing it with this camera just to kind of show you the how you put it on. Put on the weight, the counteract the side-by-side motion, say, so to speak. And a lot of times though with these lighter cameras, the less weight that you put on it, the better. And this is one thing that I found with my my aiptek camera, because it's a very light camera. It's less than a quarter pound, and therefore I could never get the thing balanced. What I needed to do to balance it was actually put more weight on top where the camera connects to the Steadicam, rather than placing like a balancing weight on the bottom. I watched this one video from a guy who used his GoPro with the Lensse, and he made a Home Depot getup so that he could get the Lensse solidly balanced with this lightweight and unevenly balanced camera. I took what I got with this, and what I have here I got from Verizon.com. I use this with all of my 3D videos when I was using the dual camera setup. Basically it's a dual tripod mount, so that I could put like two cameras and make 3D videos that way. But I got looking at this and it's like I'm not using this anymore. I'm using a camera that already has its dual lenses. So I thought I could probably use this to help balance the top part of the camera. Now, if you remember some of the older videos, if you've been watching my channel, there was some rickety noise, whatever. So I had to buy a little wing nut with that, and counter, and just tying that up like that, so that I could have the camera only on this one. And then I put the camera on that, and it worked a lot better. I was able to get the aiptek a lot better balanced, even though there was still a little bit of sway to it. But it did work better. Now these dual camera mounts here, they are available at Verizon.com for about $70. So if you do have experience, working with carpentry, or you can make your own getup, you could probably do it a lot cheaper than if you just bought one of these. I just happen to have one of these on hand, so it worked great. I didn't have to spend any more money than what I'd already spent. The funny thing about this bar though is because of its mounts like that, it needs a tall tripod mount to hook to the Lensse. And in order to do that, I got this with one of my Canon. Actually, I got two of them, but one broke, and so I got one left. And this works as a great extension with it. If you do something like this, you'd probably have to look into Amazon. They probably have things like boots or something like that that would allow you to extend it out a bit. I can see that you get the thing fairly balanced, but there's still a little bit of waving offhand. So what I did was I bought a couple long bolts like that, just 1/4 inch, 2 more wing nuts, and the bolt, 2 more bolts like that, and stuck these in on both sides. I got the two screws on the bars there, and then I picked up a few washers and I placed them on each side, and then proceeded to place on the wing nuts to make sure that the washers don't go anywhere. So yeah, just kind of pretend that's the aiptek right there, right? See, the thing with the aiptek is that the tripod mount is over to its left-hand side or right-hand side, depending on how you have the camera pointed. And so the aiptek actually comes over this middle section a little bit. And so as soon as I get this sort of balance and still just need some tweaking, all I have to do is tweak this little guy here sometimes, and that will help balance it out. And that's all I did with the aiptek and this Lensse, and I got it pretty well stabilized. Not quite as good as the guy who did the GoPro, because the aiptek is a very light camera, and it's a very flat camera, so that, as I mentioned when I was doing my video, it was every time that the wind hit it, it's like a paddle, and it would force the camera back and forth. But I hope that this kind of explains a little bit on how I was able to get this stabilized, because it does take a little bit more work than what you get in the box with the Lensse midx Steadicam. And with each different camera, it's a different problem. And there's some people who have cameras that have a handle and then they got the lens coming out like that, very top heavy. Hope this was pretty informative, and I'll talk with everybody later.